Somewhere in the open ocean, a great white shark is being flipped upside down and paralyzed. A blue whale, the largest animal that has ever drawn breath on this planet, is being drowned by a coordinated team of hunters half its size. A pod of dolphins scatters in every direction, screaming into the water. All of this is happening because one predator has arrived. The orca, the killer whale, the undisputed emperor of every sea on Earth. And yet, in that same ocean, there is one creature the orca sees and quietly turns away from. Not a shark, not a giant, not some mythical monster of the trench. Something slower than an orca, blockier than an orca, a creature that looks, from the outside, almost comically clumsy, a wrinkled, grey, boxy giant that swims like it is dragging a warehouse behind it. Yet when this animal appears, the most intelligent killers in the ocean back off. Their tactics fail. Their confidence evaporates. Something ancient in their instincts tells them the math no longer works. Why? What could possibly make a pack of hyper-coordinated apex predators refuse a meal that is served right in front of them? The answer is not what most people think. It is not size. It is not luck. It is a combination of biology, history, and a hidden weapon that orcas have learned, across generations, to never test. Let us begin with the most obvious suspect: size. When you see a sperm whale rising to the surface, the sheer bulk of the animal is the first thing your brain registers. A fully grown female stretches around 40 to 50 feet, roughly 12 to 15 meters, and can tip the scales at 30 to 50 tons. That is a mountain of muscle and blubber moving through the water. Compared to an orca, which averages between 6 and 9 tons, we are looking at an animal 5 to 6 times heavier. In nature, most predators respect that kind of gap. A creature that big can kill you by accident. A tail flick that misses can still crack ribs. A body slam can rupture organs. The energy required to bring down such a target is enormous, and every calorie a predator spends must eventually be repaid at the dinner table. But here is where the story cracks open. Because orcas do hunt animals far bigger than a sperm whale. Blue whales, at up to 200 tons, are 4 times heavier, and orcapods still take them down. If a 200-ton whale can fall, a 50-ton sperm whale should be, on paper, a much easier meal. So the answer cannot be weight. Something else is going on beneath the surface. To understand it, we need to look at how orcas normally kill giants. And here, the sperm whale rewrites the entire playbook. When orcas target a blue whale, they are not engaging in a fair fight. They are running a marathon designed by strategists. A blue whale's only defense is speed. Its body is a torpedo, engineered for cruising, not combat. It has no teeth, no armor beyond blubber, and no instinct to fight back. So it runs, and the orcas make sure that run costs everything. They form relays. One group applies pressure at the front, another rides on the back to add drag. A third rests, waiting for its shift. Every ram, every bite, and every deadweight climb onto the whale's back forces the giant to burn oxygen and muscle. Hours pass. Then more hours. Eventually, the largest animal in the history of the planet, exhausted beyond recovery, is pushed underwater and held there. It does not die from wounds, it dies from lack of air. It suffocates because it could not stop running. Now try that strategy on a sperm whale. It will not work. It will not even start. Sperm whales are slow, painfully slow by whale standards. Their cruising speed sits around 4 miles per hour, roughly 6 to 7 kilometers per hour. Even at full push, they cannot match an orca in a sprint. Evolution did not build them for horizontal escape, and somewhere in their long history, they realized this. So they made a decision that most prey species never make. They stopped running. When an orca pod appears, a sperm whale does not flee. It turns. It faces the attackers. It positions its body deliberately. In that moment, the entire orca strategy collapses, because you cannot exhaust a target that refuses to move. There is no relay, no chase, and no attrition. There is only a standoff. And a standoff with a sperm whale is not something an orca wants to enter. To see why, you have to understand what a sperm whale actually is. It is not a peaceful filter feeder. It is not a gentle wanderer. It is an active, deep-sea predator. It hunts in the dark. It fights giant squid in a lightless world where the water crushes bones. It has teeth. It has instincts sharpened over millions of years of combat. And it has something else, something so strange that scientists still argue about how it works. It has a hammer for a head. Look closely at a sperm whale and you will notice something bizarre. Roughly 1/3 of its entire body length is head. A single blocky, square, monstrous head. Inside that head sits the largest brain of any animal on Earth, yes, but the brain only occupies a small slice of the space. The rest is filled with a specialized organ called the spermaceti, holding hundreds of gallons of waxy oil. Scientists have proposed something remarkable about this structure. The sperm whale may be able to control the temperature and density of that oil by adjusting its blood flow. When the oil cools, it thickens and solidifies. The head becomes denser, heavier, more rigid. The soft-looking dome at the front turns into something closer to a battering ram made of concentrated mass. If you want to know what that ram can actually do, history has already run the experiment for us. In the year 1820, a whaling ship named the Essex was cruising the Pacific when a large male sperm whale, provoked and enraged, decided to fight back. It charged the ship, not once, but twice. The Essex was a solid wooden vessel, built for years at sea. 2 direct hits sank it. Sailors were left stranded in tiny lifeboats in the middle of the ocean, and their story later became the inspiration for the novel Moby Dick. Now imagine what that same weapon does to an orca. A 10-ton mammal, no matter how intelligent, cannot absorb that kind of impact. Bones break, organs rupture. It is not a bite risk, it is a physics risk. The front of a sperm whale is simply a zone that no rational predator wants to enter. But that is only one weapon. There is another, and it belongs to the entire family. Orcas usually solve the giant whale problem by targeting the young. Calves are smaller, softer, and easier to isolate. The standard tactic is to wear down the mother until she cannot defend her baby. It works on many species. It does not work on sperm whales. The reason lies in how sperm whale families are built. These animals live in tight, matriarchal groups. Adult females and their calves travel together for years, sometimes decades. They know each other. They communicate constantly with a language of clicks so distinct that different pods around the world have different dialects. And when a threat appears, they do not scatter, they organize. The formation they use is called the marguerite, or the daisy. When orcas approach, the adults form a circle. The calves are pushed into the center, and here is the crucial detail. The adults do not face outward with their teeth. They face inward, pointing their tails outward. Because in a sperm whale, the real weapon on the back end is a slab of muscle capable of generating force that would break an orca in half. The circle becomes a rotating wall of tails. Any orca that gets close enters a blender of massive muscular strikes. It is not a fight, it is a fortress. Orcas who witness this response often just hang back at a distance, watching, calculating, and eventually leaving. There is no opening. There is no soft target, just a spinning ring of death that dares them to come closer. But what if a sperm whale is alone? What if it gets separated from the pod and finds itself surrounded in open water? Even then, the story is not over. Because the sperm whale still has one card left, and it is a card no orca can match. It has the deep. Orcas are surface hunters. Their entire physiology is built for speed and agility in the upper layers of the ocean. They are air breathers. Most of their hunts happen within a few hundred meters of the surface. Diving beyond 1,000 meters is possible, but rare, and staying down there is dangerous. Their bodies are not built to endure the crushing pressure of the abyss for long. Sperm whales are built for exactly that. They are among the deepest divers on the planet. They routinely descend past 3,000 feet and often plunge to 6,500 feet or more, chasing giant squid in a black world humans have barely explored. Their ribs are flexible enough to compress. Their blood carries oxygen with astonishing efficiency. They can hold their breath for over an hour. In contrast, an orca can hold about 10 to 15 minutes at best. So when the surface becomes hostile, the sperm whale simply leaves. It tilts down and disappears into the vertical. The orcas can follow for a while, but the pressure begins to work against them almost immediately. Every meter deeper is another meter of risk. Their lungs squeeze, their bodies signal distress. Chase too far, and they die too. The sperm whale, meanwhile, drifts into darkness like it is coming home. In the abyss, there is no predator that can touch it. It has escaped into a dimension the orca cannot enter. And this is only the story of the females. The males are a different kind of nightmare entirely. Sperm whales show extreme sexual dimorphism. While an adult female might weigh around 15 to 20 tons, an adult male can grow to 60 tons or more. His length can push past 60 feet, roughly 18 to 20 meters. He is not just larger than a female. He is twice as long and up to 4 times heavier. And unlike the females, adult males are usually solitary. They roam alone through vast stretches of ocean. They do not need a defensive formation. They do not need to retreat into the deep, because no orcapod is willing to engage them. Think about the paradox again. Orcas will attack a 200-ton blue whale, but they will not attack a 60-ton male sperm whale. The reason has nothing to do with size and everything to do with identity. A blue whale is a gentle grazer, nutrient-rich, unarmed, and passive. Attacking it is a business decision with high reward and low risk. A male sperm whale is the opposite. He is a lifetime predator himself. He hunts in the dark. He fights creatures with tentacles and hooks. He carries teeth that can crush the shell of a squid the size of a bus. Attacking him is a business decision with a catastrophic downside. Even if a pod succeeded, the injuries would be devastating. Broken jaws mean starvation. Broken ribs mean death. There is not a single documented case of orcas killing a healthy adult male sperm whale in the wild. Not one. They are, quite literally, off the menu. And even if orcas decided to try, there is one more problem waiting for them: the armor. A sperm whale's body is wrapped in blubber up to 14 in, or around 35 centimeters, thick. That layer is dense, fibrous, and remarkably tough. It is closer to industrial rubber than fat. An orca's teeth, while sharp, are only about 3 to 4 inches long. They rarely reach past the blubber layer into anything vital. To actually kill a sperm whale, orcas would have to bite continuously for hours or even days, bleeding it slowly through 1,000 shallow wounds. And during all that time, the sperm whale is not standing still. It is thrashing, ramming, diving, and biting back. Every second of the fight tilts against the attackers. It is a battle that, mathematically, orcas cannot win without losing more than they gain. But here is the deepest layer of the story, the one that most people miss. Sperm whales did not develop all of this to defend themselves from orcas. Orcas are, in evolutionary terms, a recent problem. To understand why sperm whales are built like war machines, you have to travel much further back in time. Millions of years ago, during the Miocene epoch, the ocean was ruled by monsters that make modern predators look tame. The Megalodon, an enormous shark reaching up to 60 feet in length and weighing over 50 tons, patrolled the same seas as the ancestors of the sperm whale. Even more terrifying was a creature called Livyatan melvilli, a prehistoric relative of the sperm whale itself, with teeth over a foot long and a skull shaped for tearing other whales apart. The ancestors of the modern sperm whale had to survive in that world. They had to endure attacks from predators twice the size of anything alive today, and evolution responded the only way it could. It built them tougher, denser, thicker skinned, stronger bone. The sperm whale we see now is not designed for the modern ocean. It is designed for a much more brutal one that no longer exists. That is why their defensive instincts are so precise. Their social formations, their willingness to stand and fight, and their calm response to danger, all of it was written into their genes during a war we cannot even imagine. Every modern sperm whale is a descendant of animals that survived nightmares. So when an orca pod approaches today, they are not meeting an ordinary whale. They are meeting a veteran species carrying millions of years of combat memory. To a sperm whale, an orca is not the apex predator of the ocean. It is a smaller version of something its ancestors already defeated. The stress threshold of this animal is calibrated for monsters that no longer exist. A pod of killer whales, coordinated as they may be, simply does not reach the fear response. That is why the sperm whale does not panic. That is why it turns around. That is why it stands its ground. And that is why, in every sea on Earth, there is one line that even the ocean's greatest hunter will not cross. It is not a border on any map. It is a border drawn by biology, by history, and by the quiet confidence of an animal that has already survived worse. When you watch a video of orcas dismantling a blue whale, remember that the same pod, on the same day, would look at a sperm whale and choose to swim in the other direction. Because dominance in nature is not just about power, it is about pressure. About who can absorb the hit, hold the line, and refuse to break. The sperm whale does not need to be faster than an orca. It does not need to be more coordinated. It only needs to be immovable. And in a world where every other giant runs, being immovable is the ultimate weapon. Sometimes the strongest thing in the ocean is not the one that attacks first. It is the one that stands still, stares back, and says no. So tell us in the comments, what shocked you the most about the sperm whale? Was it the battering ram head that sank a wooden ship? Was it the wall of tails that turns a pod into a fortress? Was it the memory of ancient monsters written into its bones? Or do you know of another hidden titan of the deep that makes even orcas think twice? We would love to hear your perspective, and we read every comment. If this dive taught you something new, hit the like button and subscribe so you do not miss the next mystery. There is a lot more moving down there in the dark, and we are only just beginning to see it clearly. See you on the next descent.